The cold void of space stretched endlessly, dotted with distant stars that seemed more like scattered diamonds than suns. In this quiet darkness, a small fleet of alien ships approached the Sol system. They moved with a confidence that came from centuries of dominance in the galaxy. To them, Earth and its human inhabitants were just another primitive species, unaware of the true power that existed in the cosmos. The Galactic Empire, a sprawling coalition of countless species, had spent millennia expanding. Every civilization they encountered either bent to their will or was crushed. Yet here, in the region humans called Terran territory, they were about to learn that assumptions could be deadly. On Earth, in orbit above Mars, Commander Alara Kincaid stared at the holographic display in Terran Defense Command's central chamber. Her sharp eyes followed the blips on the screen, ships moving at speeds that should have made them undetectable, yet the humans had seen them. "Scouts," one of her officers said, voice tight with tension. "Cloaked ships, but we've picked up their signatures." Alara nodded. She had expected this. Humans had spent decades monitoring space for anomalies, alien signals, and potential threats. The Galactic Empire had never entered human space openly, not in centuries, but this was different. This was a deliberate move. "Activate full orbital scans," Alara ordered. "I want every movement mapped. I want their composition, weapon types, propulsion systems, everything. And alert the President's Council. We need to make our presence known before they even realize we've noticed." Within minutes, the Terran monitoring satellites had locked onto the intruders. Despite the alien ship's cloaking technology, human AI had detected tiny distortions in gravitational waves and minor energy emissions. The AI processed the data at lightning speed, revealing not only the number of ships but also the likely intentions of the fleet. Alara turned to her second-in-command, Lieutenant Merc Chen. "We can't let them assume this is an unguarded system. Prepare the drones and orbital defenses, but no engagement yet. This is the first move in a long game." Merc nodded. "Yes, Commander. Drones online, orbital grids on standby." In the deep silence of space, the alien fleet moved closer. Their formation was tight, professional, and intimidating. Massive vessels with dark hulls reflected no light, and smaller scout ships darted around like predatory fish circling a shoal. Yet despite their apparent power, the Empire had made one fatal mistake. They underestimated humans. On the asteroid belt, small, human-controlled drones observed the intruders from hidden positions. These drones were not armed for battle, at least not yet. Their purpose was intelligence. Every movement, every scan, every pulse of the alien fleet was recorded and analyzed. Humans had a talent for seeing weaknesses where others saw only strength. "Alara," Merc said, pointing at a section of the hologram, "they're scanning Mars. Sensors are active. They want to know what we have there, likely to assess strategic value." Alara frowned. "And they think they'll find nothing. Let's make sure their assumptions are shattered." She pressed a few buttons, and a holographic map of the Sol system expanded in the center of the room. Red markers indicated alien positions. Blue markers showed human satellites and patrols. "They've entered Terran territory," she said softly, almost to herself. "And they don't even know the storm that's coming." Meanwhile, deep in the flagship of the Empire, Admiral Vorthak observed the data feed from the scouts. He was a towering, four-armed creature with scales that shimmered in shades of blue and green. Pride radiated from him. "These humans are primitive," he said to his lieutenants. "They have no major fleet presence, no heavy defenses. We will issue a warning and they will comply. The Sol system will be ours to explore, nothing more." But Vorthak's confidence ignored one critical factor. Humans had always thrived in impossible situations. They had survived ice ages, global wars, and even their own reckless tendencies. Their strength lay not in raw firepower, but in creativity, adaptability, and resilience. Back on Mars, Commander Kincaid's team worked tirelessly. The AI had already calculated multiple scenarios, predicting the aliens' likely maneuvers. Each option was analyzed for risk, efficiency, and potential for non-lethal deterrence. Humans had a saying, "The best weapon is a clever mind." Alara turned to the room. "Prepare a standard communication. Diplomatic channels first. Let's see if we can make them understand that entering Terran space comes with consequences." By mid-afternoon, the first human message was ready. It was simple but firm. A holographic projection appeared on a satellite near the alien fleet, showing Earth, Mars, and the surrounding orbital defenses. Alongside the visual, a calm, human voice spoke in the common interstellar language. "This is Commander Alara Kincaid of Terran Defense Command. You have entered Terran territory without permission. Leave immediately or face consequences." The message reached Admiral Vorthak, who chuckled. "They think a hologram and a voice will scare us. Prepare the fleet to continue scanning. We may humor them later with a response." Unbeknownst to the Empire, the humans had already deployed stealth drones around the fleet. Tiny, almost invisible crafts, equipped with advanced sensors, moved silently among the alien ships. They were not armed with weapons yet. They were observers, learning the fleet's every weakness. On Earth, civilians watched the news reports with a mixture of curiosity and fear. The Terran government had remained calm, emphasizing diplomacy and intelligence. No shots fired. "No panic," the announcer said repeatedly. "We are prepared, we are vigilant, we are human." And that was exactly the point. Humanity's strength had never been just technology or numbers. It was unity, determination, and cleverness under pressure. As night fell over Earth, the alien fleet had positioned itself between Mars and the asteroid belt. Their sensors probed the system, unaware that every pulse they sent was mirrored back by human AI, who analyzed each one to predict their next move. The Empire had assumed stealth and surprise would be enough. They were wrong. In the quiet of her command center, Alara reviewed the alien movements once more. Her team had identified several weak points in the fleet: sensor blind spots, slower supply ships, and predictable patrol patterns. She smiled faintly. "They're confident. They've made mistakes already, and they haven't even realized it." At that moment, a junior officer burst into the room. "Commander, one of the scouts is approaching near Jupiter. Sensors indicate minimal shielding, easy to intercept if needed." Alara raised an eyebrow. "Not yet," she said firmly. "We don't fire first. Observation and warning. That's our strength. Let's make sure they understand humans are not weak. Let them underestimate us at their peril." Far in the void, Admiral Vorthak's fleet hummed with quiet energy. His lieutenants continued scanning, still convinced that humans were primitive and predictable. But tiny drones, unseen and unheard, drifted among their ships, sending back streams of data to Earth. Humans had prepared, quietly and methodically, for this exact moment. And in the end, it was a simple fact that no alien fleet could understand at first glance. Humans were survivors. Humans were clever, and humans never underestimated themselves. The night stretched on, and the first warning had been sent. The Empire was still arrogant, still certain of victory. But for the humans of Earth, this was not just about defense. It was about proving that Terran territory was not to be trifled with. Alara looked out at the stars through the panoramic window of the command center. She whispered to herself, a small smile on her lips. "They don't know it yet, but they just crossed the line." And with that, the stage was set. The game of strategy, patience, and intelligence had begun, and humanity would play it better than any alien fleet could imagine. The silence of space had grown tense. The alien fleet lingered in the outer reaches of Terran territory, their massive dark ships gliding between asteroids and dwarf planets, their sensors sweeping the void for anything unusual. Yet every move they made was already known to humans. Terran AI had mapped the entire fleet's formation, their patrol routes, and even predicted their possible next moves. On the command deck above Mars, Commander Alara Kincaid studied the holographic display. Red icons blinked, marking alien ships, while blue symbols represented human satellites, patrols, and hidden drones. Every alien maneuver, every subtle adjustment in their formation was recorded and analyzed. Merc Chen, her second-in-command, leaned over her shoulder. "They've started probing the asteroid belt more aggressively. They may think we're unprepared." Alara's eyes narrowed. "They think wrong." She pressed a few commands, and the display shifted to a three-dimensional projection of the solar system. Streams of light represented human monitoring and interference zones. Tiny drones, invisible to the aliens, weaved through asteroid clusters, scanning, observing, and sending back real-time data. "Prepare the stern warning message," Alara ordered. "Make it clear. Make it intelligent. Make them understand the cost of ignoring us without firing a single shot." Minutes later, a human frigate drifted silently into the path of the alien fleet. It wasn't armed with heavy weapons yet. Its purpose was different, diplomacy backed by undeniable power. A holographic message flickered to life above the ship, projecting a visual of the Sol system, with orbital defenses highlighted, and an overlay of precise calculations showing how the aliens could be neutralized if they continued. Alara's voice, calm yet firm, echoed through the communication channels. "This is Commander Alara Kincaid of Terran Defense Command. You have entered Terran territory without permission. Cease your advance immediately. Any further incursion will be met with consequences that ensure no innocent life is harmed. Leave now." The alien Admiral Vorthak watched the projection with growing irritation. His four arms gestured in frustration. "They send a single frigate and expect us to take notice. Primitive species, foolish humans, maintain course. Continue scanning. We will demonstrate our superiority soon enough." But already, subtle signs of concern rippled through the Empire fleet. Sensors failed intermittently. Small energy surges appeared where none should exist. Unseen drones moved among their ships, gathering intelligence. To the aliens, these were anomalies, irritating yet unexplained. On the ground, scientists in Terran monitoring stations monitored the Empire's responses. Dr. Lion Torres, head of orbital AI coordination, explained the anomalies. "The drones are generating interference patterns that confuse their sensors. They can't see our full deployment. We're controlling the battlefield without firing a shot." Alara nodded. "Good. Keep it precise. Keep it safe. Let them learn that humans are not weak, but we are patient." The alien fleet, arrogant and overconfident, decided to respond. A communication burst reached the human frigate. Vorthak's deep voice reverberated across the channel, dismissive and mocking. "Your systems are primitive. Your threats are meaningless. We are the Galactic Empire. Leave your childish games and submit. You will not stop us." Alara's eyes were steady as she replied. "This is not a game. Terran territory is protected. Your submission is irrelevant. You are being observed, tracked, and understood. We will act to protect our people if necessary. This is your final warning." In orbit, humans had already deployed secondary measures. Asteroid swarms had been shifted subtly into patterns that could block or divert enemy movement. Tiny automated drones lurked in the shadows, ready to disable any ship that tried to violate critical zones. All measures were non-lethal but highly effective in showcasing Terran capabilities. A squadron of Empire scouts moved closer to test the humans. They expected resistance to be weak and disorganized. But one by one, the scouts found themselves disrupted. Communications were jammed, propulsion systems experienced subtle interference, and navigation systems faltered, enough to make them hesitate. On board the alien flagship, confusion began to grow. "Sensors are failing," one lieutenant shouted. "Our scouts are drifting off course." Vorthak's pride faltered for the first time. "Impossible. This is not technology they should possess. Who is controlling this? Meanwhile, the humans were calm, organized, and unhurried. Commander Kincaid observed the unfolding situation like a chess master watching her opponent move blindly. "Let them see," she said quietly, "that humans can control a battlefield with intellect and precision." Merc grinned. "The scout squadron is drifting into the interference zone. If they continue, they will be trapped temporarily." Alara nodded. "Good, but no engagement yet. Observation only. Let them realize they are not in control." The first scout ships of the Empire found themselves trapped in invisible patterns of energy disruption. They couldn't maneuver properly. Their weapons were temporarily offline, and yet no human ship fired a single shot. To them, it was frustrating, baffling, and deeply unnerving. Back on the flagship, Vorthak's anger began to boil. He activated additional sensors and prepared a show of force. Send in the strike drones, disable their frigates. But the humans anticipated this. A single stealth frigate piloted by Captain Rena Solis moved like a shadow among the alien vessels. Using advanced propulsion and predictive AI, she dodged the incoming drones, disrupted their targeting systems, and returned harmlessly to position. The aliens could not comprehend how one small vessel could anticipate every move of dozens of advanced ships. In the command center on Mars, Alara watched the events unfold. "This is the power of humans," she said softly. "Not brute force, but intelligence, adaptability, and courage." HFY moment. Captain Solis's small frigate performed maneuvers that no alien pilot could predict. Every evasion, every subtle countermeasure, highlighted human ingenuity. The Empire began to realize that numbers and size were meaningless without strategy and understanding. Vorthak's voice trembled with frustration as he spoke to his lieutenants. "They are adapting, anticipating every move. How is this possible?" On Earth, civilians watched live feeds of the Sol system, carefully curated by Terran Defense Command to avoid panic. News anchors tried to explain the situation calmly. "Humans have managed to neutralize multiple intrusions without firing weapons. Our scientists, our pilots, and our AI are protecting the system with ingenuity and intelligence." The Empire could see the human message clearly now. Terrans were organized, prepared, and capable of rapid adaptation. Their strength was not just technology but thought, coordination, and discipline. And this strength was displayed without casualties or destruction. Vorthak, now visibly shaken, called a council of his commanders. "We need a stronger demonstration. Humans cannot be allowed to think they are equal." Alara anticipated this. "They'll try a show of force next," she told Merc. "We'll be ready. Let them believe they are intimidating us, but in reality, we control the battlefield." HFY moment. Humans weren't just defending, they were teaching a lesson. Every step, every calculation, showed that intellect, teamwork, and moral restraint could hold back even the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. As the day turned to night, the alien fleet continued to hover near the asteroid belt. Their sensors probed, their engines hummed, but every action was mirrored by unseen human drones and predicted by AI. They had entered Terran territory thinking it would be easy. But humans had already turned the table. The first warning had been delivered not with weapons, but with intellect, strategy, and undeniable proof of capability. The Empire had yet to strike, yet their confidence was shaken. Alara looked out of the command center window at the stars, the planets of the Sol system stretching out below. She knew the Empire would not leave easily. They would test humanity again, likely with a show of strength. But humanity had already shown its first hand. Cleverness, discipline, and moral restraint were their greatest weapons. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "we give them the full message. We show them what humans can really do." In the dark void, the alien fleet continued its uncertain drift, unaware of the full extent of Terran preparation. The stern warning had been delivered. The game had begun in earnest. And humanity, calm, clever, and united, was ready for every move the Empire could make. The void of space was alive with tension. The alien fleet lingered near the asteroid belt, hesitant yet still proud. They had assumed humans would panic or surrender, but each day had proven them wrong. Every probe, every scout, every minor maneuver had been met with calm precision and cunning by Terran forces. Commander Alara Kincaid stood on the command deck of the orbiting Terran flagship Resolute. The pale blue light of Jupiter reflected faintly on the viewport. Her eyes were focused, analyzing streams of incoming data from the stealth drones scattered among the alien vessels. Every movement was predicted, every weakness noted, every opportunity logged. "Commander," Lieutenant Merrick Chen said, his voice tense but steady, "the Empire has started assembling a small strike force, likely a test but heavily armed." Alara's lips curved into a faint smile. "They're impatient. That's their first mistake. Prepare our predictive countermeasures. We'll neutralize them without firing a single shot, at least for now." Down below on Earth, civilians went about their daily lives, unaware of the invisible war above. The news media, carefully coordinated by Terran Defense Command, emphasized calm. "Humans are defending the Sol system with precision," broadcasts said. "There is no immediate danger. We are united and vigilant." In the Empire's flagship, Admiral Vorthak roared with frustration. "Send the strike fleet. Enough of these games. Let us show these humans our power." The strike force moved forward, sleek, armed vessels designed for destruction. Yet as they approached the asteroid belt, the unexpected began. Subtle, precise interference disrupted their navigation. Their weapons systems blinked offline for brief but critical moments. Drones, invisible to their sensors, monitored every ship, predicting each move before it could be executed. Captain Rena Solis piloted the human frigate Shadowhawk, weaving through the fleet like a phantom. Each evasive maneuver seemed impossible, yet every prediction of the aliens' moves was accurate. She disrupted their targeting arrays, jammed their communications, and guided stealth drones to neutralize any immediate threat, all without firing a single weapon. HFY moment. The Empire's engineers scratched their heads in confusion. How could one small human vessel anticipate the actions of dozens of their most advanced ships? The answer was simple. Humans were clever, adaptable, and fearless. On Mars, Commander Kincaid coordinated the defense. "Predictive AI models updated," she said. "Strike fleet is on a timer. Interference zones ready. Drones in position. Let's remind them who controls this battlefield." The strike force found itself in a trap it could not see. Asteroid swarms subtly shifted, creating invisible corridors that forced the alien ships to slow down or risk collision. Minor energy pulses disrupted their propulsion systems for seconds, enough to throw off coordinated attacks. Vorthak's frustration grew. "They are controlling the environment. How is this possible?" Alara leaned over Merrick's shoulder, her eyes steady. "It's simple. Humans adapt, humans plan, and humans never underestimate themselves." The Empire tried another tactic, overwhelming human sensors with high-intensity scanning beams. They assumed humans would be blinded by such sophistication, but the Terran AI had already predicted this. The drones adjusted their positions, reflected some beams, and intercepted others, feeding real-time data back to Resolute. Captain Solis executed a series of daring maneuvers. She positioned the Shadowhawk between the strike fleet and the asteroid swarms, creating a phantom blockade. The Empire ships hesitated, unsure whether they faced a trap or a feint. Their indecision gave humans the advantage. Alara initiated a new communication channel, secure and encrypted. Her voice, calm and precise, reached the alien commanders. "Your strike force is under observation. Any further advance will be neutralized with minimal risk to yourselves. Terran territory is off limits." Withdraw immediately or face consequences you cannot predict. The Empire's response was a mix of arrogance and uncertainty. Bluff, Vorthak muttered. They are bluffing. Proceed. Test their defenses. The humans had anticipated this arrogance. The stealth drones moved subtly among the strike fleet, generating micro-interferences that slowly disabled weapon systems. Navigation systems became erratic. Communication lines went silent. Without understanding why, the Empire's strike force ground to a halt, forced to retreat temporarily. Unresolute, Ilara smiled. They think they are intimidating us. They have no idea how much control we have. HFY moment. It was not the firepower that gave humans an advantage, but their intelligence, foresight, and precision. Every action was calculated, every countermeasure implemented without violence. The Empire was learning a hard lesson. Raw strength alone could not dominate humans. Admiral Vorthak, humiliated, convened his commanders in a private chamber. We cannot allow this to continue. They are more capable than we anticipated. Prepare for a demonstration of overwhelming force. We will crush them and show the galaxy that no human is a threat. Back on Mars, the Terran leadership prepared for the inevitable. Commander Kincaid activated secondary defenses, strengthened predictive AI algorithms, and coordinated civilian support systems. Human resilience was not just military, it was societal. Scientists, engineers, and volunteers worked together seamlessly, each contributing to the overall defense. Merck observed the display. They're moving in. This is the full demonstration. Ilara nodded. Let them come. We are ready. The Empire's demonstration began. Massive cruisers moved toward Mars, their energy weapons charged, their intent clear, to intimidate humans. But the Terran AI had already calculated every possible trajectory, every vector of attack, every potential weakness in the alien formations. The humans responded, not with weapons but with strategy. Asteroid fields were repositioned to create barriers. Stealth drones guided the alien fleet through these natural obstacles, subtly altering their course. Minor energy pulses temporarily disabled propulsion systems and sensors, enough to prevent any effective strike. Captain Solis executed the final move of the day. She led the Shadowhawk on a daring mission between two massive cruisers, disrupting their targeting arrays and creating confusion. One by one, alien ships slowed, hesitated, and retreated from the asteroid belt. Admiral Vorthak watched helplessly as his demonstration of power crumbled without a single human shot fired. Impossible, he muttered. How can they anticipate every move? Ilara, calm and composed, addressed the Empire fleet through the communication channel. We do not need to destroy you to defend our territory. You are being observed, studied, and understood. Any further violation of Terran territory will be met with consequences designed to protect innocent life and prevent escalation. This is not a threat, it is a fact. HFY moment. The Empire realized that humans had combined intellect, strategy, and moral restraint into a form of power that could rival any fleet in the galaxy. Humanity had not struck a single blow, yet they had decisively proven superiority. As the alien fleet retreated, the humans of Earth celebrated quietly, not for victory in battle, but for proving that unity, intelligence, and adaptability were as strong as any weapon. Commander Kincaid allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The stern warning had worked. Humanity had outsmarted an entire galactic fleet, yet she knew the struggle was not over. The Empire would not forget this humiliation. They would return, likely stronger and more determined. But humans had made one thing abundantly clear: Terran territory was not to be violated. Ilara looked out of the command center at the stars, thinking of the vastness of space and the challenges that lay ahead. Humanity had survived countless trials on their home planet. They had learned, adapted, and thrived. The same qualities that had allowed them to conquer their own world now protected the entire Sol system. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we prepare for the next challenge. They will test us again, but they will find the same result. Humans are not weak. Humans are clever. Humans are united." HFY moment. The story emphasized human resilience, cleverness, and moral integrity. Even against overwhelming odds, humanity had proven that intelligence, teamwork, and patience were their greatest weapons. And so, as the alien fleet limped away, temporarily humbled, the people of Earth and the humans commanding the stars knew one undeniable truth. Terran territory was no longer just a name. It was a promise. A promise that humanity would stand united, clever, and unyielding against any who dared to intrude. The stage was set for the final confrontation. The Empire would return, stronger and more determined, but the humans had already established a truth that could not be ignored. They were not to be trifled with. The vast silence of space stretched like a canvas of endless darkness. Stars glimmered coldly, indifferent to the drama unfolding near the Sol system. Yet within this void, a battle of intellect, strategy, and courage was about to reach its climax. The Galactic Empire, humiliated by their failed strike force, had regrouped. Admiral Vorthak's pride burned fiercely. He refused to leave Terran territory without proving the superiority of his fleet. Over the past weeks, he had assembled a massive armada, heavier, stronger, and more intimidating than before. Cruisers bristled with weapons and scout ships moved like swarming predators, all coordinated with ruthless precision. "Prepare for the final demonstration," Vorthak commanded, his voice echoing across the fleet. "We will crush the humans and ensure no one in the galaxy doubts our power again." But humans had anticipated this. Commander Alara Kincaid stood aboard the Terran flagship Resolute, calm and focused. Every fleet movement, every possible trajectory, every strategy the Empire could employ had already been calculated by Terran AI. Humans had prepared not only for defense, but for demonstration, showing the Empire the cost of underestimating Terran ingenuity. Merc Chen, standing beside her, glanced at the display. "They're coming, Commander, full fleet, all weapons online. They're not holding back this time." Alara's eyes, sharp and unwavering, scanned the holographic map. "Let them come. Every move they make we have anticipated. Every strike they plan we can counter. Today they will learn that Terran territory is not a place to invade." In orbit, human drones flitted among the asteroids, invisible to the Empire's sensors. Each drone was a node in an interconnected web, feeding data back to AI systems that predicted enemy movement in real time. Orbital defenses were ready. Lasers calibrated for precision strikes, electromagnetic pulse emitters poised to disable weapons temporarily, and automated formations to block key paths, all designed to protect life while showcasing human power. Captain Rena Solis piloted the Shadowhawk into a forward position. She had faced the Empire's forces before, but this time the scale was enormous. Yet she felt no fear, only resolve. Humanity had survived countless dangers on Earth, and now they would protect the Sol system with intelligence, courage, and unity. The first wave of Empire cruisers advanced. Massive ships loomed like moving mountains, their weapons systems humming with lethal energy. But as they entered Terran-controlled space, subtle interventions began. Asteroid swarms shifted just enough to force slight course adjustments. Minor energy pulses disrupted propulsion for critical moments. Communications jammed and reconnected erratically. HFY moment. The Empire, despite overwhelming firepower, found themselves slowed, confused, and outmaneuvered, without humans firing a single shot. Their arrogance was crumbling in the face of Terran precision. Alara issued her first tactical order. "Shadowhawk, lead the interference drones in pattern Delta 7, orbital lasers at standby, ready for precision demonstration only." Captain Solis executed flawlessly. The drones moved like a phantom shield among the asteroid belt, guiding the alien fleet through controlled disruptions. One by one, the Empire ships slowed, their formation strained, their confidence faltering. On board the flagship Resolute, Alara addressed the alien fleet via holographic projection. Her voice was calm but firm, cutting through the void of space. Admiral Vorthak and all commanders of the Galactic Empire, this is Commander Alara Kincaid of Terran Defense Command. You have entered Terran territory against clear warnings. You are observed, studied, and understood. Your actions are noted. Any further violation will be met with calculated responses that ensure no innocent life is harmed. Terran territory is off limits. Leave immediately. The Empire's response was a mixture of disbelief and outrage. Bluff, empty words, we will show these humans our strength, Vorthak bellowed. But even as he spoke, the humans executed their final demonstration. Orbital laser grids flared, not to destroy, but to create visible barriers. Stealth drones manipulated the asteroid fields, forming intricate patterns that blocked the alien fleet's paths. Electromagnetic pulses disabled targeting arrays temporarily. HFY moment. Humans showed the Empire that true power was not in destruction, but in control, intelligence, and strategic brilliance. They were disciplined, adaptive, and united. Every move was designed to prevent loss of life while asserting dominance. The alien fleet hesitated. Their arrogance had led them to believe that fear would force compliance. Now, they realized humans were not to be trifled with. The odds were overwhelming, but not because of raw firepower. Humanity's ingenuity had made the impossible look easy. Vorthak clenched his forearms in frustration. They anticipate everything, every maneuver. They are not like other species. Alara leaned over Merrick's shoulder. No, she said softly, they've never met humans like this. They've underestimated our discipline, our intelligence, and our unity. The Empire's leaders, shaken, debated their next move. Every option seemed to result in losses or humiliation. They could not understand how a smaller, technologically clever species could neutralize the most advanced fleet in their coalition without firing a single lethal shot. HFY moment. Humanity had turned defense into a statement of respect. The Empire could no longer ignore humans or their territory. Terran cleverness had become a force of nature. Finally, Admiral Vorthak made a decision. Retreat. Withdraw from Terran territory. Today we are bested not by weapons but by strategy. Humanity is formidable. Alara allowed herself a small smile as the Empire began to pull back. They understand, she said quietly. They understand that we are united, clever, and capable of defending our home. Even as the Empire fleet retreated, humans remained vigilant. Drones continued to monitor the alien ships, orbital defenses stayed online, and AI systems calculated every possible contingency. The lesson had been delivered, but humanity would not be complacent. On Earth, celebrations were muted but heartfelt. Not for victory in battle, but for proving that intelligence, unity, and moral strength were humanity's greatest weapons. People gathered in homes and public squares, sharing news of how humans had defended the Sol system without loss of life. Commander Kincaid addressed her crew aboard Resolute. This was not just a defense, it was a message. Humanity will not be intimidated. Terran territory is not for conquest. We fight with our minds, our courage, and our unity. Today, the galaxy has learned what humans are capable of. HFY moment. Humans had won not through sheer force, but through discipline, strategy, and moral restraint. The Empire, powerful and arrogant, had been humbled. Humanity's strength was in their intellect, adaptability, and resilience. Captain Solis, returning from a patrol among the asteroids, reported, "Fleet is secure. Empire retreating. No casualties. Terran territory remains protected." Alara nodded, looking out at the stars. The future was still uncertain. The Galactic Empire would return one day, perhaps stronger, perhaps more cunning. But humanity had proven a crucial truth. They were not to be underestimated. "Let them return," she said. "We will be ready." And when they do, they will find the same result. Humans are clever. Humans are united. Humans are unyielding. The Sol system settled into quiet once more. The asteroid belts, the orbital satellites, and the scattered human fleet stood vigilant. Terran territory had been defended, not by destruction, but by intellect, strategy, and the unwavering courage of its people. And far beyond the Sol system, the Galactic Empire took note. The humans of Earth were no longer a minor species to be dismissed. They were a force of ingenuity, resilience, and moral strength. Terran territory was officially and indelibly off-limits. In the calm after the storm, Commander Kincaid allowed herself a rare moment of pride. The humans under her command had faced one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy and emerged victorious, not by firepower, but by cleverness, discipline, and unity. Humanity had not only survived, but had earned the respect of the galaxy. HFY closing moment. The story ends on a triumphant note, showing that humans' greatest power is not destruction, but intelligence, courage, and moral integrity. The Galactic Empire had learned the hard way. Terran territory is sacred, and humanity will defend it at all costs. As the stars twinkled silently overhead, Earth remained safe, humans remained vigilant, and the galaxy had received its stern warning: underestimate humans at your peril.